Hey, that's my name, Mr. Hollywood.
That was rough. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is that I just don't like till, you know? Alright, we got the flush. Okay, he's got a set of eights. We got her. Hold.
Tell him he's got a lot of class, and it's all low.
Welcome back to the Brantzen Poker Vlog. Let's jump right into the action as we buy in for $300 on the 2-3 no limit table at Ocean's 11 Casino. The first hand we're going over, there's a straddle, the cutoff limps, and the button opens to $20. I look down at ace queen of clubs in the big blind, and it looks to me like a pretty clear spot to 3-bet. I 3-bet to $80 and it folds back to the button. He thinks for a bit, then asks the dealer,
How much time is it?
60 more.
Then a few seconds later, he says,
So it's 40?
Oh, 60 more is 80 total.
He thinks for a bit longer, and then says,
I'm all in.
It's a trap!
Oh, boys, this is some Hollywood shit. You have aces, I swear to God. Oh, boy.
I think about my odds here. I have $290 total in my stack, so I have to call $210 to win $598. So in order for this call to be profitable, I need to win a little more than 35% of the time. If I'm against aces, I'm crushed. Against kings, I have about 32% equity. Against ace-king, I have about 30% equity. If I throw in jacks, and especially tens, it's super close. I'm not sure exactly how drunk this guy is, and if it's possible he could be doing this occasionally with a bluff. I absolutely hate this spot, but...
Alright, I call.
He turns over pocket aces, the board runs out 8, 9, 4, queen, 3, and we lose our first pot.
You want to be on the vlog?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Hollywood.
Hey, that's my name, Mr. Hollywood.
Thank you all so very much. Thank you to the Academy.
Starting a session stuck a buy-in is never fun, but about an orbit later, we pick up ace-king off in the hijack. Mr. Hollywood opens to $16 from under the gun +1. So here we go again. I make the standard play of a 3-bet, and I choose a sizing of $60. It folds back around to Mr. Hollywood. He thinks for about 40 seconds, and then lays down pocket eights face up. A little after that, we get invited to a different table by a fan of the vlog, Kevin from Hawaii. He was in a previous vlog, and we're happy to sit down and play some 2-3 with him. The first significant hand I play is Jack 9 of spades in the Lojack. I open to $12, the small blind and big blind call. 3 ways to a flop that comes out 7, 10, ace, with 2 hearts. Both the blinds check, and this flop connects with our range as we oftentimes have an ace as the pre-flop raiser. In reality, we only have a gut shot straight draw, but we c-bet to $25. The small blind and big blind call, and the turn comes out an offsuit 8. Holy cow, we hit our straight, and both players check it to me. With the straight, we're definitely not slowing down, and we bet $70. Then, I'm pretty sure I feel the hand of God patting me on the shoulder, because the small blind calls, and the big blind goes all in. What a dream, we're sitting with the nuts, so we go all in as well, and the small blind folds. The river comes out, the 4 of hearts, and the big blind turns over 8-10 for a turned 2 pair. We take down a nice sized pot, and are slightly positive for the day. In the next hand, I pick up Jack Queen off under the gun +1. This is just slightly out of our typical opening range, but we decide to play it anyway and open to $12. The hijack, button, and small blind call, so we're heading 4 ways to a flop. The flop comes out 7, 10, 3, rainbow, and it checks all the way around. The turn comes out a queen, and the small blind checks. Sitting with top pair, it seems like a good time to get value out of a worse hand, and to deny equity from hands that could catch up. I bet $25, and only the hijack calls. The river comes out a 2, which doesn't really change anything. I choose to bet less than a third pot, only $30, to get value from a worse pair that doesn't want to call much. Also, in case she has a better hand than me, I wanted to bet and deny her from naming her own price on the river, most likely larger than the one I chose. She ended up just calling, so I figured I was good and flipped over my cards. She flipped over King Queen of Hearts, so it looks like I was, in fact, not good. But at least I got to name my own price on the river and saved some money. Okay, so next we're sitting in the hijack and look at Jack 10 off. We opened at $12 and the button and small blind call. The flop comes out 8-9 ace with 2 clubs, and the small blind checks it to me. We decide to put in the semi-bluff with our open-ended straight draw and bet $25. The button folds, and the small blind calls. The turn comes an offsuit 2, so not the card we're looking for, and the small blind checks. Our hand range contains a lot of aces, and a lot with good kickers as well, so we decide to keep firing on this board. We choose roughly a 3/4 pot size bet and bet $60. This should put any weak ace or mid pair in a difficult spot, and if he calls, we still have a chance to hit our straight on the river. Well, he doesn't fold, he doesn't call, he chooses door number 3 and raises to $160. Well, I don't think there's much else to do besides folding here, and so I let my hand go to fight another day. The next hand starts with a hijack open to $12, followed by the cutoff and button calling. I look down at ace queen off in the small blind. Most often when I'm in the small blind, I try to pick one of 2 options, 3-bet or fold. Ace queen is a pretty solid hand, especially against 3 opponents in late position, so I 3-bet to $70. Well, the hijack then decides to put in a 4-bet to $200. The cutoff and button fold and the action's back to me. So far, I haven't seen the hijack put in any 3-bets or 4-bets, so I think I'm extremely behind in this situation. I make the laydown, and when I ended the session, I asked him what he had here for the vlog. He was nice enough to tell us. He said he had aces, and it was, in fact, his only premium pair of the night. That's always nice to hear, but man, we're not doing too well with ace-queen tonight. A few hands later, we're in the Lojack and look down at ace-queen again. Okay, 3rd time's a charm. The under the gun opens to $16 and we decide to just flat call. The small blind calls as well, and the flop comes out 10-3 queen with 2 diamonds. The small blind checks, and the under the gun bets $25. I have top pair, top kicker, which is great, but the under the gun has a strong range with a lot of hands that are currently beating me. 10s, queens, kings, aces. Because of all that, I just call, the small blind calls, and we see a turn which comes the 7 of hearts. Not much changes here, the small blind checks, and the under the gun continues for $90. We just call again, for similar reasons as the flop, and the small blind folds. The river comes the single worst card in the deck, the Jack of Diamonds, and our opponent shoves for about $250 effective. I'm racking my brain. Diamonds make a flush, ace-king makes a straight, any pair from 10s to aces beats us. I really can't think of any hands that take this betting line that we beat, so I lay down my cards. To our worst nightmare, our opponent shows ace-queen that he turned into a bluff. In my head, when he has ace-queen, that river should go check-check 100% of the time, but I guess not. Next hand we're going over, I pick up king-queen of clubs under the gun +1. I open to $12, the Lojack, and the big blind call. 3 ways to a flop, which comes out queen, 8, 9, rainbow. Solid flop for us, so when the big blind checks to me, we toss out a 2/3 pot size of $20. The Lojack puts in a raise to $65, the big blind gets out of the way, and it's back to us. Normally I'd call here, especially with the backdoor club draw, but this player hasn't been showing much aggression at all, and I had this gut feeling I was crushed. I decide to let this one go, and the Lojack is nice enough to show 8-9 suited for the vlog, flopping 2 pair. Okay guys, we've been getting brutalized by the table, and it's time for us to win a hand. We pick up pocket kings under the gun +1, and the under the gun opens to $15. I put in a standard 3-bet with kings, and choose a sizing of $50. Like I was saying earlier in the video, the under the gun should have a strong opening range, so he should be calling or raising me a decent amount of the time here. It folds around to the under the gun, who folds, and we take down a nice pot. So the last hand of the night, the under the gun limps, the hijack opens to $16, the button calls, and we look down an 8-10 of spades in the big blind. Pretty standard call, so that's what we do, and the under the gun folds. 3 ways to a flop, which comes 4, 5, 8, 2 hearts. I check, and the hijack bets $35. The button folds, and we decide to make the call with our top pair. The turn is an offsuit 4, pairing the board. I make the standard check, and this time he bets $80. I only have 205 remaining in my stack, and I think about what to do. If I call, my remaining stack size is super awkward. I thought about folding or raising all in, and I think my slight tilt from the night pushed me over the edge into going all in. I figured I was ahead of some draws / flat out bluffs, and this board hits my range as the big blind much more than it does his. Well, he snap called me and shows 6-7 off, flopping the straight. And with that, we call it a night and walk away to continue the fight another day.
That was rough. Yeah, I got put in a lot of tough spots. Ace Queen was not my friend tonight. I lost every time I had Ace Queen. So that was that was bad, man. Yeah. Sometimes you have those sessions where you just get put in tough spots. I don't know, probably didn't always make the right decisions, but I think overall I played okay. Yeah, what are you gonna do? I was in for 600 tonight and out for 0. By the way, thank you guys so much for watching and subscribe.